Hare Krishna. So Lord Krishna has spoken about the ones who are foolish. Now he speaks about the ones who are intelligent. Let's see that in shloka number 17. Yasya naham krito bhavo buddhiryasya na lipyate hatvapi sa ima lokan na hanti na nibadhyate. So here Krishna is telling that yasya na ahankritah bhavaha, the one who is not motivated by what? Ahankara, that is false ego. Buddhir yasya na lipyate, whose intelligence is not entangled. Hatvapi sa ima loka na hanti, though he kills men in this world, he does not kill. Na nibadhyate, nor is he bound by the actions. So here Krishna is making a very important point, and he's saying that one who is not motivated by false ego and whose intelligence is not entangled, such a person, even if he is killing, he actually does not kill, he will not be bound by his own actions. So such a person is a person who can be called as intelligent. That's a very deep shloka, a deep meaning, and lots to learn. Because for us also as devotees, this shloka becomes very important. Because here Krishna is talking about becoming free, or one should be free from doership mentality and proprietorship mentality. Doership mentality means I have done it. Proprietorship mentality is I own all this. And the person is very much attached to the result. So one should be detached from the result. So these are the three things which are very, very important in a person's life who is aspiring to attain perfection of human form. Free from doership mentality, free from proprietorship mentality, and free from the attachment to the results of one's action. Now let's see here in Prabhupada's purport, what is Prabhupada telling us here. In this verse, Lord informs Arjun that the desire not to fight arises from false ego. Arjun thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme action within and without. So Arjun had this problem, right? He was telling, no, how can I fight? They are all my kinsmen. How will I enjoy if they all die? Sins will overcome me because I am killing them. If I kill them, the family traditions will be broken. So many were I was there, and here Krishna is saying, chup. No false ego. Be detached. So that's what Krishna is saying here, that the desire not to fight, it arises from false ego. So Arjuna, this is because of your ahankara that you are saying I will not fight. So Krishna's instruction here through this particular shloka is that you are not the doer, do your duty and be detached from your results. Now here it is said, if one does not know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instruments of work, himself as the worker and Supreme Lord, the Supreme Sanctioner, is perfect in doing everything, such a person is never an illusion. Thinking that I am the only doer and there is no one above me, there is no other factor, such a person is an utter illusion. Completely in illusion. Thinking I did it and becomes very proud when the results are good, and the results are bad, the person gets into depression. So this point has to be noted that we are not the only doers. Out of the 5 factors of action that we had discussed in the previous shlokas, we are just one factor in that. That is the karta or the spirit soul. And the supreme factor in all these 5 is the super soul who sanctions our desires. So as we had discussed in one of our videos, that the spirit soul desires, the super soul sanctions, and by the instruction of super soul, Prakriti will manifest or materialize that particular desire. So this is a very important concept, the triangle of Jiva, Paramatma and Prakriti. Now here it is said, personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godlessness or a lack of Krishna consciousness. Who will think that I am the only person who is doing or I am the only doer? The one who is godless, who is atheistic, who is devoid of the opportunity to practice bhakti. Such a person will think, oh, I am the one, I am the only one. This is a very, very important thing to note, that anyone who feels that I am the one who is doing it, I am the only one who is doing it, such a person is really very foolish. And this will be the result of his lack of knowledge about the Supreme Lord, his lack of knowledge about the Prakriti, his lack of knowledge about his own self, of he being the spirit soul and not the body. Here it is said, anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though killing, does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the reactions of such killing. So Arjuna had this problem, right? He was telling, if I kill, I'll be overcome by sins, and this will happen, that will happen. All that nonsense was going on in his head. So Krishna here is making it clear that if the person is free from false ego and is just abiding by the instruction of the super soul, then he'll be free. He'll be free from any of the sins which might incur in the other case when the same action is done. Now, one very important point here. Now, whatever voice comes from within, we cannot consider it as the voice of super soul. This is a very important point to note for all of us as sadhakas. Because we are all neophytes, we have just started practicing. So we cannot say, okay, now the super soul told me that you go to that bar and drink wine. There will be no sin. Or go there and eat some non-veg item. Oh, super soul told me, the voice came from inside. That voice coming from inside for a sadhaka will be mind's trick. Mind will speak like that. So for us, how will we understand? What is Krishna telling to us? How will we understand? By reading Bhagavad Gita. So our instructions, or the super soul's instruction for us, will not come from within for us as sadhakas, but it will come from Bhagavad Gita for us. So the adhyayan, the swadhyaya, or the reading or studying of Bhagavad Gita becomes very important for all of us. See, that's the reason we are recording these videos, so that each and every shloka is discussed in detail and we know what that shloka means. And here there's a nice example, analogy that is given. When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, then he is certainly judged by a court of law. Now see, a soldier, if he is shooting innumerable people on the border who is there on the other side who are called as enemies, the number of people he kills, the more he becomes victorious, that person will be given many medals. The same person with the same revolver or with the same gun, if he comes on the road and starts killing the innocent people of the country, the same government which was giving him the medals, the same government will put him behind the bars. This is a very important concept. In the first case, the superior officer or the government had sanctioned, okay, you can go ahead and you can kill in the war. And when that sanction is not there, the person will be put behind bars. Similarly, for all of us, when we have sanction of the Lord through the medium of Bhagavad Gita, what happens? At that time, whatever actions we do in accordance with Bhagavad Gita will not have any reactions to it. So that particular activity becomes a karmic activity, action which does not have any reaction. But when we do things whimsically, as per our mind's dictation, then what happens? Whatever action we do will have equal and opposite reaction to that, and we have to suffer for the same. So this is a very important point, that we all have to note. So in this way, when the mind tricks us by giving some inner voice, we should understand it is not super soul, it is the mind, and the super soul's words are given in Bhagavad Gita, which I am supposed to refer. And with time, when we become more and more purified, with everyday chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You know what happens when we do this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? With time we'll get purified day by day by day. And when we reach a good amount of purification, at that time we'll be able to hear the voice of Super Soul. That's how these great personalities like Srila Prabhupada, they would execute the instruction of Super Soul. Because they would hear Super Soul speaking. So this is a very, very important point to note. That we as sadhakas, we are at a very, very low platform, very neophyte. So with time we have to increase our level of spiritual practices. Every single day attentive chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra with begging and praying mood. If we keep doing it, that day will not be very far when we will be completely purified and will be able to hear the voice of Super Soul from within. As of now, our contamination is so high that even if the Super Soul takes a loudspeaker and he shouts, still will not be able to hear. Because our contamination is so high. So with time, our spiritual practices will purify us. And as we all know, namely 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra minimum, following the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, reading and hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, preaching the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam through book distribution or through giving classes or whatever, honoring prasadam, attending various festivals and serving in various festivals, fasting on the days like Ekadashi and other festivals. So in this way, when we do these different angas of bhakti, purification will happen. And we'll be free from this particular thing that Krishna is speaking about. So in this way, Krishna has spoken very nicely about the foolish ones and the intelligent ones. Now after speaking about all this, now he is going to talk about knowledge, the object of knowledge and the knower again. And now he is going to get into more details of these 3 entities which are part of any action. So let's see that in the next video. Hare Krishna.